As you can see, we got a surprise winner. Esteban Ocon with the win, and now Canada with Paul Allen, second place for the Audi, and Gabriel Bortoletto, third place in the Alpine. I have no word to describe what hell had happened there, but we're looking at an incident that had occurred with Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll right there. As you can see, we came together and unfortunately caused an absolute severe damage on Stroll's car. Here's another angle of it. I don't know who mistake that fault. I mean, Stroll was going to drop them later on, kind of didn't realise that Fernando Alonso was coming up there, and I think he must have misjudged it and caused it a massive incident. But now we're heading over to Austrian Grand Prix. But this time it's Liver is going to be on Liver Grand Prix, the first one of this season, another two to go after this, so I cannot wait to see what it got in store for this Austrian Grand Prix Liver, and I'm actually very exciting because it's the first one to do, let's be honest, but I'm going to show you the Canadian Grand Prix result. Obviously, Matt Verstappen, who was supposed to be up there, ended up to being down in P4, and Miata has scored a point P10, and Charles Leclerc is now 4 points ahead of Matt Verstappen, and the Red Bull are now again 4 points ahead of the Mercedes. So it'll be very interesting to see how this Austrian will turn out. But here is the photo of our brand new sponsor that came in before Canada, and that is Sun Burst, which is still on the fan wing side pod and the top of Halo. Those are the brand new sponsors for our team. So I'm very excited to proudly show it, and we are also begun our Tuesday first run, and I definitely to admit the practice was quite different, to be honest, and a contractor, we are approaching the Fernando Alonso, but he's obviously not quite happy at the Martin. We can see that, and maybe we can look into bringing Fernando if Russell does not decide to sign with us. But obviously, I have that one Russell, he's the priority, and I think I'm going to pair him alongside to Miata. We're going to find out how the season goes, but it seems like it's going to be Miata, and we've got the 2-1 and 2-2 result that just finishing off before we enter into Tuesday. And of course, Matt Verstappen is the one to watch, but he ended up being P10 very close, was being eliminated, and we clocked the line. For the second run, we end up going third, but unfortunately we dropped down to shit. And McLaren, Lando Norris, has taken the pole with Matt Verstappen second and Carlos Sainz in third.
Welcome from the beautiful Styrian Mountains for another chapter in the story of the Austrian Grand Prix. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Lando Norris put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Sainz, Gasly, Charles Leclerc and Miata, Piastri, Stroll, Tsunoda and Esteban Ocon, Albon, Antonelli, Ollie Behrman, Doohan, Colapinto, Crawford, Paul Aaron and Isaac Hadjar, Lawson, Bortoletto, Fernando Alonso and Nico Hülkenberg rounds off the grid. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. And alongside me today, former Formula One driver and former world champion too. See, told you I'll give you a big intro. Anthony Davidson, hello. So we're getting close to the start of the race. What will this driver be experiencing? Big nerves? Big excitement? What?
Always extra nerves at the start of the race, Grumpy. Probably at the start of the race, it's where your heart rate's at its highest. in anticipation. And you've got to be in the right mindset. You've got to be thinking there inside the car, what can go right? How can I be opportunistic rather than what can go wrong? And how do I protect my position? Look forward and stay positive. It's easy to say, very hard to do when you're in that position.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
So now we are going over to the Austria Grand Prix, and we are going to attempt a one-stop strategy still. An option to do two-stop strategies to see. It depends on what might go down, but it's a brand new track in a way for everybody, but it's just the opposite, that's what it's just reverse, but it still feels quite brand new. And I know I mentioned in qualifying that when I did the practice section with Miata and Stroll, we were quite quick, but I can also see there's a bit of confusion, but it's not normal racing reverse, but it could be a very, very exciting and of course an opportunity to finally do something brand new with the calendar where you can change things around in terms of reverse. Even though it's only about 3 of them we have to start, but it doesn't matter, we still got on the third rampant, and I cannot wait to see how it will be like as we are now waiting for the 5 red light are prepared to get ready to go underway with Lando Norris on the pole position. Had a pretty good start. Max Verstappen locked the place to Carlos, so he's on the inside line and it's about to be forward up to turn 1, and Carlos on the Verstappen plate, and Miata had moved up, replayed up to third. A fantastic start from the Tommy Miata, and Max Verstappen has locked the plate down. The P7, he was stuck on, not the P7, not the star that he wanted, that is for sure. With all the P8, Newton Tanona in P9 was also coming off a fantastic, very weird rampant in Canada with a win. He's obviously now down in P10. You never know, it might be repeated. You just don't know. And we did see some couple positions being swapped. For example, with Alex Albon, and I believe it's Alabama that have swapped a position. But obviously, we can see Fernando Alonso down P19. I think he is not really tuned in with the car compared to his teammate, who have jumped 25 points ahead of Fernando Alonso. I think might be a little bit less than that, but still, Ocon is leading the teammate in the construction and the driver championship. It's wild to see how that had unraveled for the Aston Martin. We didn't think there was a chance, but apparently there is, and it's just some freak incident that must have made it happen. I have no idea how, but here's a replay of, I believe, the beginning of the lap 1, which we can see Lance Stroll, who were down P8, Miata in front with P6, and we both had moved up in order with Peugeot and Max Verstappen. For some reason, just didn't have the line that he wanted to go, and he had to manage to put himself ahead until Stroll tried to hold on to it and got himself ahead at another angle of Miata, where he went for the move and basically overtaken Lita, and Lita made a really bad contact with Carlos, but we still managed to save it anyway. But we are really in third position, which is brilliant to see. But Miata is right now the driver that is consistently putting the point in compared to Lance, who unfortunately had lost that sleep as he had DNF in Canada. There's nothing to have done, but he was partly of his own fault from doing what he done. He wasn't the car, and with him, that's pretty unfortunate, and we've got Pierre Gasly now making a move on Miata. We're going side by side, and we're going to the older turn right, which is not actually turn right anyway. But we're going side by side. Miata just try and hold on to the podium spot, and Ferrari for somehow looking really quick. But they are not that quick compared to Lando Norris, who is just over 2 seconds, and we've got a bit of a battle going on with Gasly and Charles Leclerc as they are going side by side up to turn 2 now, and Charles Leclerc had overtaken Pierre Gasly, and Miata still remain in P1. But we have been getting some feedback, and we have been told there is a bit of a power lock in the car at some point, but we unfortunately have not changed the component, I believe, on the ice, so therefore the ice is going to be roughly about over 50%, and that to be quite severe. but we have to hope it does not end up being that bad as long as we keep out of the dirty air that will cause obviously the engine to overheat. We want to try a short and podium, so that'll be really a big help for the construction point. And we got at the end of battery with Newton turning on with Ultron behind watching everything unfolding. I can imagine Ultron not having the pace that he can get to overtake those cars, but again, you should never know. Lean and Gasly had overtaken Charles Leclerc to get back up into P4 with Stroll, who down P6, Max in P7 and Piastri in P8. So the pack has started to form and it's Lando Norris who's leading out in the front miles ahead, while we have some pack from Toro to Miata all the way down to Max Verstappen, that our pack, and there's more going on in the back market basically, but now Miata starts and losing time to Toro, so we should now board Pierre Gasly to come through on the outside, but Miata managed to defend down leading more again to Pierre Gasly, but it looked like there might have not been a case as Gasly on the inside line, will he get ahead? No, it don't, not Miata put himself in a really good spot. He defended and kept him behind. So very good defender from Miata. We can see he had mature over a season that he obviously was being quite abnormal driver. Now he's becoming a really good driver with determined, and that is what I like to see, and that's what I have a bit of a favour with Miata over Lance. No, so far that can change, and Lance another 2.8 seconds ahead of Toro, but here is Miata being overtaken by Pierre Gasly. I'm about to get Charles Leclerc to come through it, and we're going to be behind 2 cars, and we locked 2 positions, and Miata somehow gone quite deep, and that with the taller, he actually slotted quite a lot near the practice section, and it still looks like he slotted quite a bit, but he managed to get back ahead of Charles Leclerc anyway, so that's good. We're back into P4 now. He won't try to get that P. We're still relatively close, but not close enough to be able to stand it and overtake Pierre Gasly, and we still got a long way to go. It's over just over 30 laps. There's still time for Miata to do something, but he made a mistake, which just allows Charles Gasly. Miata is now putting that back ahead of Charles Leclerc. A very good rating between them both. That is a good thing to see, that we can manage to be able to keep a clean racing, while Miata is feeling a little bit flutter with the fact the cars, it doesn't seem to be quick at this losing time, and he tries to figure out, we on our end try to figure out why he is slotting a little bit on the car long while he's being a perfectly driving leading well, and I think it's something to do with one driver who's slotted, the next weekend that driver doing well, while Miata will do bad. That could be that to be happening. I have no idea, but all I want is get both of them inside points. That would be very nice to have, but we did not manage to achieve it in Canada, unfortunately. We want to keep it up to store the point after point after point. That would be a massive help in the construction, because we now have to start keeping an eye out on a couple of teams that may managed to make some really good jump, and we got a fight going on with Piastri and at DLA as they join side by side down into the order turn there, going onto the straight line with the DLA, and the Piastri going for the move on the outside line. Can he get ahead of Timmy at DLA, or will at DLA defender still side by side? Coming up to lap 8 now, and there's another flag going off. There's another flag going up, and that is Albon, who may have seen him in the background for a second. Alex Albon there it had unfortunately DNF. That is unfortunate from Alex Albon. He was not really in point, but he had an opportunity, I believe, but unfortunately he's out of the Austrian reverse rampant. That shot for Alex Albon, and we got Miata still running a solid pace on P4. Just need to try and just keep on going and put the car for as long as we can, while dealing with some potential power loss issues. I think that is the main reason why we are not that competitive to catch those Ferrari who are second and third. But that is pretty good for them, because obviously they have been having really weird season, and of course we had both. I believe Gasly is the only one so far that had a win in this season in that Ferrari, so we might see Carlos to try out and beat him, and obviously land another 4 Sutton ahead of the car behind, but we might see both of those best friends on the podium together, which pretty just this team, let's be honest, and we've got Miata just be overtaken by Charles Leclerc, and there's nothing much we can do about it. But Miata determined to try to get him back ahead of Charles Leclerc, majority to get the DR. All we need to do is just send it and try to get the move done. And we've got both Ferrari in the battle now, and it's that you have overtaken Carlos and in a lot of time just gone by with Miata overtaken Charles Leclerc now dazzling in the Sutton play. He is driving a little bit better racing than Carlos side, but we do need to see them having battle going back and forth potentially, and that be a massive help for Lando Norris, but he doesn't have to worry too much about the car behind. It's just chill and just coaching around to try and get that victory that he wanted. And we got Verstappen, who is close behind to land slow, and I think slow, it might be playing a long game. He's probably thinking about what I'm doing to help Miata. I'm doing to defend as much as I can with Verstappen and Miata to try and just pull away if he can, and in a lot of time we actually see Charles just overtaken Miata unfortunately, and Lando still doing a fantastic job defending against Max Verstappen, and Miata once again doing to get the DR and try to send it back around on Charles Leclerc, which he had done very easily, and I think we can definitely stand for that DR on that long straight, because that helped a lot for Miata, and we actually got Charles Leclerc put in the battle with Miata. Unfortunately, had overtaken Miata, and Miata down into P5, and there's nothing we can do. Hit that caller, you made one small mistake, you can touch yourself on race potentially to get a spin out, or something worse than that. So Miata unfortunately had to stuck to behind to Charles Leclerc and try again to overtake him at the opposing with a loud and caller. So we've seen what might happen, and slow, it probably just start catching up because maybe just stop behind the dirty air. Miata, for some reason, it has seemed to stay tuning in with the car, and in lap 11 we got Max Verstappen had just pitted, and we are now approaching to lap 12, and Matt is dropping down to P11. But Matt, it might be thinking about doing 2 stops that, and she probably is because Miata and Slow are not even coming into lap 15, so Matt might be coming in for such a stop later on down the line, and he's coming out in P12 behind Fernando Alonso, and I'm feeling a little bit shamed for Matt, because he was doing really well at the beginning of the season, but then somehow it's just unraveled to be really unlucky racing. I mean, obviously Canada would be very unlucky for him because he was on the pace to win that race until something weird had happened for those top leads that have got on the podium that race. Torty Matt, who dropped down to P4, he would love to have that win for sure, but we have not seen him on the podium with a win or topped up for quite a while, I think, but now Slow and at the end it's been having a battle of their own, and now Slow needs to get back ahead because we won't be able to finish top 6 as a team, but we ought to be fantastic and finish in top 5 despite dealing with those weird issues that's going on inside the car. But to only be able to stay, we took the try, pull up 1 stop, we have option to do 2 stops, but 1 stop it might be the better option to do, and Verstappen had just overtaken Fernando Alonso, and Fernando Alonso is just, for some reason, is so slow. He's literally over 10 seconds behind to his teammate Ocon. 10 seconds of my match is took that, so that is a bit of a shame for Fernando Alonso. That's why I took the opportunity to approach him and see if I can sign him before he retired. And now, if that happened, if we can actually sign him, we have to pick one of those 2, rather, Fernando or Russell. It's going to be very interesting. A contractor for the 2027, and we don't want to be bored for the DR that just split open, but it may also accidentally going a little bit wide towards it and damage to the DR board, which is a bit of a shame, but now we know the tyre has started getting a little bit wearing out. but we're coming in to lap 40 at the end of it, going to lap 15. We have to have Peter to put a hard tyre on, and this is now our warm up unless something happen like safety tyre or whatever it might happen in today rampant. But we're coming out in P11. We have not lot too much plate to even though we were P5 not the P11, but the plate on a hard tyre from Miata is always for some reason on point. So I think we should see Miata not actually being not any too much for the third, maybe 10 laps. This hard tyre feels really good, then obviously we start well and out, which is obviously normal. But Miata could have a chance to be able to something to figure out for undercut or whatnot. But in lap 16, we now are approaching behind the barn. Alton Norris, we got the best pay, the best lap, and Miata don't for the move on the outside on now of the barn. Alton, a fantastic move, putting stuff up the P10. That shows that hard tyre lip perfectly intact on the track survey, so that's good news. And now we get the chance to see Miata to catch Max Verstappen, but it's unlikely because he's on medium tyre and he might be just fine, but we know he tyre, staying long on that medium tyre, because one, he had to pit again, he was on the same tyre, and two, that ain't not going to go to the end anyway. And we got top of tyre, so to terminate Lando, then Carlos side, then we might actually not see Carlos side catching up to Lando Norris. So I think Lando somehow got it in the bar for the fixed potential, and he always loved the Austrian rampant after he, but this time in reverse, it seems like not affecting him anyway. So Lando Norris to be on the track for the third victory on the third track of the Austrian, and we are up to P9 now. We are doing pretty good. We start catching up to Charles Leclerc with obviously our warm, nice, hard tyre. Well, the other two in front of Miata are not taller tyre, there's a chance, but I don't think they're going to last long anyway. And Verstappen is in P6 round, or not a P5 behind the teammates of the Piatti. So let's see if Piatti won't put in too much problem for Lando Norris to deal with. It does not happen. Piatti actually end up pitting anyway. So I think those top four that was ahead of Lando have pitted, so Lando just throw out and definitely will be leading massively in the lead of the Austrian the third ramp, and he's currently over third second, and Max Verstappen is in second place, but he still has to pit anyway, and Carlos started coming up so close to Gatney without a contact or not. I don't think there is, but that was a very close one, and Charles Leclerc is in P5. He would be ahead of Gatney, but it was so unlucky that he would not. But you should be happy there was no contact between those Ferrari, and here is the replay of Pierre Gasly coming out of the pit. So here we are. Let's see if there was any contact now, but it was very, well, not close, but it was close enough. If Pierre Gasly made a mistake, he would have made the contact with Carlos, and that would be his fault, not Carlos, because he was supposed to stay inside right line. But it doesn't matter, he's fine, nothing bad has happened to Bantor. For whoever out there is the Ferrari fan, not seeing any downfall for them today in weekend. But in lap 18, Miata is in P6. Unfortunately, we won't get that top 5, but if we can finish P6 and slower, finish P8 or cash at the LA, but we still got Matt that had to pick, so we're still going to move up anyway, so that's fine. So go back into P5 and P7 for both of our rivals, so that's good, that's positive. So I have to wait for Matt to come in and just hope for the best on that anyway. So Matt is, I just don't know why he just slotted it in, and we actually got Nella Flat, do I know somewhere? I think we've seen some Nella Flat, yeah. There's a Marshall with Nella Flat, and safety car is out. That seemed to play the massive favour for Verstappen, but unfortunately we are a lot closer to Verstappen. So when he comes in, he'll be falling a lot of order down don't matter then, but where it's just come out, it's just put, I believe, the hard tire anyway, is that pretty much what you should be putting on, how to stop, but that's not the last launch, so it's putting the hard tire on, and it's now currently P7 now, it's just a 4 behind slower, and the P8, I believe so, Matt dropping down to P9, potentially yet here, Matt drop the P9 is still ahead of Behrman and Houston Tonona, I believe that, yeah, Matt Verstappen, P9, Houston Tonona, P10 and he's just overtaken Behrman, I believe he has pitted, I'm not sure, but Matt, from second place down to P9, an ultimate downfall for this man here. He wants to win another championship and bring him into the 6th World Championship. And if that does not happen, he has something to blame, and that is the car that does not seem to be on point at the moment. It's a bit of a shame, and Charles Leclerc now got the advantage to finish ahead of Matt and is sending the more lead in the championship. And we now got Miata are getting ready to begin racing. And Lando Norris is now getting ready to begin racing, going to lap 23 now. Lando still in the lead, but are we going to see both Ferrari put in a fight against Lando Norris? I guess we find out we still got quite about 14 laps to go, I believe. So let's see if the battle is on between Carlos and Lando. But here's a replay of the incident that causes a safety car by Jack Crawford, a bit spin, turn up turn 1 and slam into the wall. That is unfortunate from Jack Crawford. That explains why the safety car did not really help Matt, but I think if Matt didn't have that safety car at the time, he'd probably be a lot further down. So I did, it might play to his favour, but I know he might wish it if it was early on, but he can definitely get the opportunity for a much more higher place to come out of the pit, and we actually got me up to, and at the end it actually had a little battle coming up the end of the loud and caller. But at the end, the tires seemed relative about it, and Miata defended really nicely. He's now in P5. He just needs to finish P5, and that will make us very happy with Snow, who's in P7 and still have an opportunity to get at the end. And we got the P8 and Verstappen are joined side by side, and Matt Verstappen has got himself ahead of Austria. P8 the P8. For Verstappen, but Piat did not just stop, he just try and get back ahead. No, he doesn't. Matt defended, and Piat can't do nothing about it. But in lap 28, we got Lando another over on one section. Carlos started locked up. Oh no, Carlos started mixed up into the all turn there, and it's about to lose the place to Jack that they join side by side, but who's going to come out into the second place as we are now approaching the final turn. Will it be Carlo? It looks like it might be going out quite a long way, but still managed to pull it off. Fantastic move from Carlo's side, putting himself back ahead of Gasly, and it's now in P2 with Gasly in P3 and Charles Leclerc in 4th place. They are pretty much in the battle for the second place, while Miata unfortunately will be in P6 to do nothing about anything. All he could do is run slow catch up, you have to work with him or defend against him. But what we can't is Miata losing so much places that will start so much slow to do everything he can to help, but if we ask him to help Miata, he's dealing with the small issue, do your best to defend, but obviously we will get to the point where if I decided, look, it's not going to last long, Verstappen is really trying to get the move done, we will then tell Miata swap position to slow, drop the pace to try to get off us at the end. That should be the plan. We might be putting it into when slow to catch up to us. We don't want to swap in now, but we lose a lot of the time, so we have to wait until slow catch up and we can swap position if that comes to that point. And we actually see Matt and Piat going to fight side by side. Yes, we do. And it's Piat ahead of Matt Verstappen once today, but Matt will try to get back on the inside line. What can Verstappen do? Can he do it better than Piat? He does not. Piat stays ahead of Matt Verstappen, but let's hope they will keep fighting, because that will help Miata and Stroll not to worry too much about having to swap at the missing timing. So I like what we can do with Lord in fantastic job. And Miata had a little half spin. He made a mistake and Lord had taken advantage and John knew. On Miata made a mistake at the time where we could have missed it. That unfortunately, I think Miata started feeling a little bit of a nerve that started hitting to him, but he knows that the car, it's just something wrong with it, and I think he might be panicking a little bit, but we now need to tell him to calm down, to try and fight the damn slow, but not too hard. If you try to do it, stay behind him. That's what we told Miata to do, but we still do it to give them the fair fight because they deserve it, so they can prove to us who is the better driver. Miata made another mistake. He now locked the place to the Piat. He now got Matt Verstappen coming up to him at Matt that attempted to overtake. No, he does not an attempt an overtake. But Miata locked the place to the Piat. Two places locked in just one lap. Two mistakes in one lap. Not good. Just not good. I think the pressure started catching to him, and that is not going to help Miata a lot. And it's helping Stroll, but he's now up the pace. Now got a clear air in front of him and behind him. It can try to chase over to act the yellow, who is not that far behind to Gasly, Leclerc and Carlos. So maybe we'll see both of them both mistakes having a battle. But we can see Carlos actually starting slowly catching up to Lando Norris. He didn't go quite far before all of the mistake happening for Miata. Now the gap starting shorten, I think so. But Miata to try and stay close to the Piat. What we can't afford is allow Matt to get by, but if he gets by, it should start running away. And we should only be able to finish P9 and Yuta Tsunoda is over 7 seconds. So Yuta is not man body yet anyway. But here's Gasly on the move onto Carlos style. They almost came together and looks like they just came together one to them coming up into turn 2. Carlos style remain ahead of Pierre Gasly. I can only imagine those Ferrari fan and the team are eaching themselves, hoping nothing happened between both of them. But even though they were racing hard, they still managed to keep it clean, which is quite shocking. But let's hope they keep it up, because that is a good hard race that I like to see so far in this weekend. But they are catching up to Lando Norris now 1.6. I don't know what's happening. How Carlos started attaching to Lando. They know the other. For Carlos started, I don't know how he managed to start attaching up. I think Lando actually got an issue, and we got Verstappen had just overtaken Miata, which is not good. But thankfully, we will get the other to try to get back ahead of Matt Verstappen, so that's fun. But what we don't want is total back and forth. That will probably not look good at the final lap. We don't know who is going to be in front, but whoever is behind will have the advantage to win, potentially. But in lap 34, going to lap 35 now, Matt put himself ahead, but Miata defended it once again. But let's have a look at the leader, Lando Norris, is now 3 tenths ahead of Carlos Sainz. What is happening? At McLaren? Carlos Sainz living brilliantly and put himself in a contender for the win, potentially for the third time of actually on the first track. The Carlos Sainz does a major move. He's sending on the outside, a fairly late break. He managed to pull it off, but he's side by side, fun win to real win. And both of them are doing side by side now, and Carlos Sainz has now completed a part, and is now up to the third place, and we've got Gasly now making a move on Lando Norris. He's up in the second place on 1-2 for Ferrari. That is the ultimate achievement for the Ferrari this weekend. I did not think they got it, but they are having it right now. Carlos Sainz is now leading the final lap, and is now just over maybe a lap under a lap to go to get that fixed for himself. And with that, the second place, I don't think that they are closer to Carlos Sainz anymore. I think Carlos Sainz got it in the bar, and Lando Norris, look, 2 places in, a straight line, both straight line, let me tell you. Well, actually not in one straight line, but the Toro side overtaking Arthur that all turn though. And now, land another to structure for the PD, unfortunately, and Toro side is the happy man, and Jack is also a happy man. But when you see a lot of time there's the battle going on between Matt Verstappen and Miata at the joint side by side once again, and Miata try and get himself back ahead of Matt Verstappen, and we have to say something on Toro's side. He's now approaching the finish line and is ready to win the Austrian third Grand Prix, a fantastic return for Toro's side, and that is such a loud or not. Unfortunately finished third, and Miata is to the top of the line to finish P8 or will Matt it. No, it doesn't. But Miata finished P8 after having a fantastic start of the P8 because of the mistake that he had made. He would have beaten top 6 that at best, but that did not happen, unfortunately.
Here's the checkered flag, and here's our race winner today. What a smooth operation it was for Carlos Sainz. Well, it's been a long wait for many of our drivers, but the wait is always worth it. Bring them out to the awaiting crowd. It's time for our podium celebrations. But there can only be one winner, and that winner today is Carlos Sainz. The top step awaits.
I mean, wow. Just wow. How the Toro side have pulled it off. He was lost in, and that's why we have to call him the smooth operator for doing a fantastic job. And now Charles Leclerc at 14 points ahead, and the championship blew wide open because Toro and Jack is now getting closer to the top 2. I think we are in the tweet for a fantastic rather championship battle for this season, and it's just a shame for me not to having a really an iffy race, what I was saying, Lean and Law, fantastic job, mate. You've done a brilliant job taking advantage of me not to mistake, put yourself in a really good position to score a P6, so well done to Law. Unfortunately for me not to, but we're going to end it now, and I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you in the next Grand Prix, which is being referred once again. So, but if you watched, please like and like my video, do my very appreciate it, and peace out.